Welcome back, everyone. Brand new week here. Hopefully you're excited to get started with this Mindset and Motivation Monday here on the Cabral Concept. This is going to be a fun one. It's from the book, The Science of Success by Napoleon Hill. You may have heard of Napoleon Hill before if you are someone that's into the growth-based space, the self-improvement space, the mindset space, because Napoleon Hill, about 100 years ago or so, actually was one of the early pioneers in working with successful people in order to learn what made them tick, how they operated, and how they became successful overall. He wasn't necessarily what you would call a quote unquote success himself until he started to study success. So if you look at all the great names that he went out and he studied, he began to see that, as I always say, success leaves clues. And so what happened was he wrote a book on that, right? So he wrote a book on this topic, and then he began to implement those in his own life. Within just 2 years or so of setting out on this mission, not only did he have what we now consider to be really the keys to success, but he used them and he became wildly successful himself. Now, a lot of people apply Napoleon Hill's work towards increasing income or developing wealth because he absolutely spoke on that. But more so, I think people are starting to realize what he talked about and the principles that he created actually are used for relationships, for spirituality. He talked a lot about spirituality. He didn't necessarily say you had to choose, not that I saw this, that, or the other religion, but he said you had to think of the universe in a certain way. You had to think of God, however you want to picture that in a certain way that would enable you to have faith. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that here today, but I want to go over the actual 10 rules from his book, The Science of Success, and I'm going to summarize that for you. And this is important because it's not just about wealth building. I think that people who go about creating wealth for the sake of creating wealth, like that's it, I don't think they ever find true happiness. I don't believe they do, because then they find their fulfillment in making money. And so if making money is the end goal, they always have to go out then and create and make more and more money. And that's basically what I talked about is like the treadmill theory. Okay, if you do 30 minutes, this month, well, to get better results, you need to do 40 minutes next month, and then 50 minutes the month after, then 60 minutes. And it is a self-defeating prophecy of what you're creating. I mean, it's never going to work out. Sure, it looks good in the beginning. It's only 30 minutes on the treadmill, but there's no way you're going to be able to get to that next level until you just keep adding more and more and more time. Next thing you know, you're on the treadmill for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, and it's absolutely not going to help you get to your transformation goals. So it's the same thing as you need to know what you're shooting for. So once you know what you're shooting for, and it can't just be about money, it can't just be about a title for a job, it can't just be about, status around something. You want to say, what does that lead to, right? What does that enable you to do? And if you think of, even if you're thinking in the financial based field, a certain amount of financial success would do what? It would simply give you more options. You'd have more options to choose where you want to travel, where you want to work, where do you want to live, what type of house do you want to live in, those types of things. So it's really just more options than anything else. And so I think we have to be careful applying Napoleon Hill's work just to financial gain. So what I want to do is I want to share it around whatever your purpose is, whatever your passion, whatever your goal, your dream is. Let's use these 10 principles to drive that further, faster, all right? So the first one is this. The very first one from his book, again, The Science of Success. I'll link it up today at stephencabral.com/2607. All right. First one is this, definiteness of purpose. So on my podcast, I've covered a lot of these, and not necessarily just because he wrote them in his book, because again, they are universal laws, the universal principles. Napoleon Hill didn't make these up. He's just rediscovered them. They've always been there. I mean, they truly have. If you look back to Neville Goddard's work, if you look back way back into even Eastern-based philosophies, they're always there. You need a definite purposeness. And what does that mean is you need to set a clear goal. So I'm always telling you on these Monday shows, Not because I've perfected this by any means, probably because I need as much work on it as anybody else, but I continue to push forward. I continue to push forward towards new goals. And so I have to get crystal clear. What do I want the 2023 vision to be? The 2025, the 2027? What do I want these visions to look like? Because if you don't have a crystal clear goal in mind, it's so difficult to know what you're actually looking for, what you're actually looking to achieve. And how do you know that you're ever going to hit it? So as they say, even in NLP, you need to know, you need to have the map, right? You need to be able to get somewhere. What am I looking to achieve? Okay, well, I'm looking to, and then state your goal, all right? And then if you can drill it down even further and really get into the, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Like, if you can get into the 5 senses, it's gonna make it even more real for you. So regardless, either way, try to journal about it. Write a 1-page entry on, hey, this is my definitive purpose. This is what I'm working towards. So like, let's say for me, it's like, okay, I want to bring functional medicine at-home lab tests in the world. That's a big thing. Like, that's always been a big mission of mine. It helped me change my life. I want to help others do the same. What do I need to do? Like, what are some big moonshots, as Dr. Peter Diamandis would say? Okay, for me, it's like, is there any way in the world that I could ever give away labs for free? Well, I have kind of figured out a way to do that. Haven't perfected it yet, but kind of figured out a way, right? Because they cost money. I mean, they're not free labs. I don't own any of these labs, right? So, and even if I own the labs, I'd have to pay for all the equipment, all the people, et cetera. Well, what I have is an Ayubowan-based membership, and you get a free lab when you get started with it. You get a free lab every 90 days. So it's like, we're getting there. We're working towards it, but write down your definitive purpose, and then we start to work backwards. And some of these others are about that. The second one is this. It's called the Mastermind Alliance. Basically, what Napoleon Hill was huge on masterminds, and what he meant by it was this. Try to get together 3, 4, 6, up to maybe 10 people that all are big thinkers. They may all want your goal. It's possible, right? So like, you get together a group of people who want to lose weight. You get together a group of people who want to gain weight, like muscle, right? You get together a group of people who want to write a book, who want to achieve any goal, right? Like inside of our IHP community, we get together a group of people like Mastery, our Mastery students, 30 people or so. And then they break even smaller groups. And what their goal is to literally become like a new vessel for knowledge for their clients. Like they already know IHP, typically level 1 and level 2. They know the de-stress protocol. They know how to do at-home lab testing, but now they want to know the psychology behind it. They want to know whatever roadblock you have, they're going to help you get over. Because oftentimes, honestly, we know the plan, we have the blueprint, we just don't implement it. We don't stick with it. Why is that? Why is it that when we hit an obstacle, we may give up? And it's not easy. And so like, that's what mastery is all about. So, but the Mastermind Alliance brings together the same mindset. It doesn't have to be the same goal, but the same mindset. And that's really, really important. So get together with a group of people where you connect, you share ideas, that energy flows together, and you develop something probably more than you could have done on your own. I've had many, many experiences in my life like that, where I've been around people that they're just going for it. They're just doing amazing things. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's not that I have to keep up. It's just like, wow, this energy is contagious. I want to be a part of that. And so that's really exciting. The third one is this, applied faith. I love that. It's that whatever your belief in God, the universe, the divine, however you want to describe it, it's that when you set a goal and you believe that you are meant for abundance, then you need to act like that. You need to act with confidence towards your goals, even knowing that you may not get it right the very first time. That's the problem. It's like everybody thinks that they need to get it right the very first time. I'm telling you right now, the odds of that are very low. So once you know that, you say, okay, well, I'm going to mess up. Like, I'm not going to be perfect. Okay, good. Because as you then move forward with confidence that, yeah, you'll hit obstacles, you'll hit challenges, but you'll be able to overcome them. That's that applied faith. The fourth one is going the extra mile. This is every successful person that I've ever met. It's just, they do more than most others. They really do. They just do more. And yeah, sometimes it's working second job. Sometimes it's working more hours. But it's not just that. Okay, so you look at like, oh, well, who are like some of the best parent role models? Okay, well, they may be working, they may not, but they are reading up on how can they be a better parent. They are putting together crafts or extracurricular activities or whatever it might be. Like they're just reading up on it, that they're conscious of it, that they're thinking about that more often, right? It's like going that extra mile is just oftentimes thinking about it, keeping it on your mind. What more could you be doing? And it's not busy work, because a lot of people are busy. There's a lot of people working a lot of hours and they're really busy, but they're not busy working on their goals. And that's a big part of it. So go the extra mile on your goals. You know, if your goal was 20 minutes of exercise, if your goal was 7,000 steps, can you do 8,000 steps? Can you do 25 minutes of exercise? Could you do 30 minutes of exercise? Do just a little bit more. Go that extra mile. The fifth one is this: personal initiative. Take the initiative, right? Like personal initiative means this. There's so many people. And again, like I have my relative strengths and I certainly have my weaknesses. But one thing I know is I know how to put together great teams. I really do. I don't make the team great. I assemble teams of great people. I'm like, oh, wow, you're amazing. You're amazing at this. You're amazing at this. That's one of my weaknesses. I want to bring you on the team for this. And you just see some people take initiative. They're not waiting and asking for you to do something. They're like, hey, have you ever thought about this? What about this? I know that you're trying to bring this to the community. What about this? I even see people in my direct messages. They're like, hey, I think that this product might be great for you to review in the Friday review. This is what I think about it. Here's how I've been using it. And again, like, okay, some of the things they can use, some people are just trying to pitch me on things. I understand that. But personal initiative in life, like whatever it might be, is one of the key factors. It honestly is. It's like, because here's the thing. There's a great saying, like, if it is to be, it's up to me, right? Like that's just the way that it is. And yes, I believe in spirituality. I believe in all that, but I believe that you're given the faculties, the abilities, the potential to make that happen. But you still have to make it happen. It still has to be you. And the thing is like, well, you're tired today. This is happening. I get it. I understand. A lot of people are tired. Like that's the thing, is like a lot of people don't want to do it, but the personal initiative is just that one little extra step. Going the extra mile. Well, going the extra mile doesn't happen if you don't have the personal initiative to make sure that you're the one to do it, not waiting for anybody else. All right, number 6 is this: positive mental attitude. I love this one. I don't know very many people who are negative self-talk all the time that end up accomplishing their goals, their hopes, and their dreams. They just don't. Like, because they let all of the possible negative things get in the way of the potential of all the potential positive things. And like, here's the thing. When you're worried about the future, well, it takes just as much energy, and I would even say less so. It takes way less energy to be positive about the future. Yeah, there's potential things that could happen that are bad, but there's also potential things that are great that could happen. You could choose to focus on whatever one you want. And so when you focus on more of the positive and you have more of the positive self-talk, you're going to go further in life. You just are, because you're going to have more belief. And if you have more belief in what is possible, the likelihood you get started is just far greater. All right, number 7 is this. It is enthusiasm. Energy is contagious. When I'm around a group of people, and there's one or two people, not that they're hyperactive. Like you can tell that nervous, anxious energy. I've been around a lot of people with anxious energy, and it makes everybody else uncomfortable. But when you're around someone with like relaxed enthusiasm, relaxed energy, it's incredible. So let me give you just a quick example. We had our big live event last October, and I took about 8 people out to dinner after the event. And there were, this is a group of like highly successful people, amazing people that I get to call my friends and colleagues. And, you know, they were all pretty much like this. And it's interesting because these people all fit these 10. I mean, they just do. Like they're just hard charging, high performers. They're just great people. But even in that group, you'll always see, it's always the 80-20. You'll always see 20% that are like that even that next level. And it's so fun being around people that are just cool, calm, and collected and enthusiastic about life. And that's so contagious. People love typically being around people that are just love life. The people who don't, though, are in the previous camp of the negative self-talk, gloom and doom, because it's basically shining the light on them saying, why do you have to live in a state of negative self-talk? Now, I understand, though, there are mental health-based issues, and we should be sensitive around those because those are real. And those people, though, I don't want them to try to go it alone. I really believe that they do need to be working with someone. Physical health and mental health, for sure. All right, number 8 is self-discipline. This is a lot like the initiative, right, and going that extra mile. But the self-discipline is the thing that I talked about even last week or a couple weeks ago on non-negotiables. Let me see which show that was for you if you're interested in setting your own non-negotiables. Yeah, that was last week, 2600. So stephencabral.com/2600. Absolutely check that out, because here's the thing. Once you have non-negotiables, you have self-discipline. So it's like, I work out more days than not a week, 4 days minimum. I try to make that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I try to always be active on the weekend. Like I take my girls to do something active, etc. Okay, so here's the thing. And I always talk about that. And people are like, oh, well, I mean, very few people actually say that, but I'm sure there's people out there who say, you should live more and go out and go to have some drinks at night. No, that's just a no. And the reason is that I fought for 10 years to get my health back. There's no way. There's no way I'm giving it back, right? I'm not giving my great health back. I'm just not. So I have self-discipline to say, sorry, I'm not drinking the alcohol. Sorry, I'm not, staying out late. And it's just like, yeah, every once in a while, maybe, right? It's like every 3 months. And as I get older and older, the less alcohol I consume. I consume almost no alcohol anymore. It's not that I'm saying you can't. It's just like the next day I want to feel great. I want to have the same level of enthusiasm each and every day. So discipline enables you to do the same things day in and day out, no matter how mundane or repetitive they are, right? Because it leads to the life that you ultimately want, which is the happiness. Number 9, it's a strange one, but Napoleon Hill references it many times. It's called accurate thinking. Accurate thinking. And so it is, I relate it many years later, right, 100 years later, to first principles or foundational thinking. It's that a lot of people are not thinking about their problems in the right way. It's really emotional based. It's worrisome based rather than just say, okay, and I don't know if we'll be able to find this because I have amazing people on my team. So just all the links today, head on over to episode 2607. So I did a podcast about Tim Ferriss, kind of fear-based thinking. And he went through some really great exercises. It was just like 4. And it's looking at worst case possible scenarios, recovery, like all of these different things. And I think that you'll find like most of these things, like, okay, what if you start this digestive program and it doesn't work? You look through the things and like, what are you losing versus potentially gaining? So I think that what we need to do is, when even something like an exercise program, people get overwhelmed by an exercise program. It's going to take so much of my time. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. No, it could literally be a 10-minute workout at home. Once you get home from work, hey, say to your spouse, I just need 10 minutes. And you're going to literally do a 10-minute workout, just body weight or weights, whatever it might be. I'm telling you right now, you can get an amazing workout. You could do 2 5-minute circuits in 10 minutes. I mean, you can make it happen. Or 2 5-exercise circuits, I should say, in 10 minutes. So might take you 3 minutes, you rest 2 to 3 minutes, you'll do another 5-exercise circuit for 3 minutes, you're done. That's your 10 minutes with like a minute to spare. Like, you can do it. So I think people get overwhelmed and they don't actually use accurate thinking or rationale about their problem solving. All right, the last one is this. This is an interesting one. It's called cosmic habit force. Cosmic habit force. It means this. When you start to create momentum in life towards your goals, that means that you've come up with definiteness purpose, right? That this is what you want out of life. And then definiteness of action. And once you start taking the action, you develop the discipline, you get a little bit of confidence, you move on to the next step, and then the next step, you build momentum. And this is what happens. Now, when you hit an obstacle, you say, okay, yeah, I've hit some obstacles before, but I'm on my way, right? I've already overcome this. I understand there will be challenges along the way, and I'm willing to take those on. That's that momentum you built up. That's the cosmic force that enables you to continue to propel through space-time, right? It enables you to do that. And I really love that one because How do you achieve that? Like, that's number 10 on the list. That's at the very end. How do you achieve that? By doing all the others. It's by coming up with your goal, taking action every day, believing in yourself or a higher power, believing that it can happen, working off of that, taking personal initiative, having discipline, being enthusiastic, having the right thinking, and just driving forward using momentum. So I love these by Napoleon Hill. He was definitely, I think, ahead of his time writing all these down. And so I appreciate that. Hopefully you found the 10 rules for success, the science of success, helpful. Do, as always, feel free to share these with anyone you believe they could serve. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.